Two souls, one flight. Humanity found hope and love far from Earth. Beyond the broken orbits of dead planets, a single human ship moved through the dark. Its engines burned low to save power. Its hull was scarred from past fights. Its name was Dawn Path, and it carried what little hope humanity still had. The war had lasted many years. Humans had once dreamed of the stars as places of wonder. Now the stars were full of fear. Many human colonies were gone. Some were burned. Some went silent without warning. No one knew what happened to them in the end. Messages stopped. Lights went out. Names were added to long lists that no one wanted to read. Dawnpath was not a warship. It was a rescue and scout vessel, sent to look for survivors, lost signals, or anything useful for Earth's defense. Most missions ended with nothing. Empty space, broken debris, sometimes a frozen body drifting alone. Inside the ship, the crew moved with quiet focus. They were tired, not just in body, but in spirit. The pilot, a man named Elias, sat in the forward seat. His hands rested lightly on the controls. His eyes watched the stars ahead. He was not young, but not old either. War had taken years from his face. Lines marked his skin, earned through long hours and hard choices. He had once wanted to explore the galaxy. Now he only wanted people to survive. Behind him, soft lights glowed on the control panels. A navigation officer named Ryan checked sensors again and again. A systems engineer named Thomas listened to the hum of the engines like a doctor listening to a heart. A medical officer named Vallis stood near the back, reading data from a screen that showed nothing but empty space. Then, the silence broke. A sharp sound rang through the bridge. Red light flashed once. Ryan leaned forward. "Captain, I'm picking up a signal." Elias straightened. "Source? Unknown," Rin said. "It's weak. Very weak. Almost buried in background noise." Thomas frowned. "Could be old junk. Or a trap." Elias nodded slowly. In this war, traps were common. The enemy liked to use fake distress calls to draw ships in. Many crews had died that way. Vale stepped closer. "Is it human?" Ryan shook her head. "No clear markers. Not any system I know." Elias took a breath. "Play it." The sound filled the bridge. It was broken. Static came and went. Under it was a pattern. Not words, not music. Something in between. A pulse that rose and fell, uneven but repeating. Vale's eyes widened. "That's not random." "No," Elias said quietly. "It's a call." The bridge fell silent again. Each person knew what this meant. If it was real, someone was alive out there. If it was fake, going closer could mean death. "What are our orders?" Thomas asked. Elias did not answer at once. He looked at the stars on the main screen. Then he looked at the signal data. "Our orders," he said slowly, "are to avoid unknown contacts unless confirmed human." Rin swallowed. "So we ignore it?" Elias closed his eyes for a moment. In his mind he saw old faces, crews that had not made it back, colonies that had trusted someone would come. "No?" he said. "We investigate." Thomas turned sharply. "Captain." "I know," Elias said. His voice was calm but firm. "I know the risk." Bale nodded. "If someone is alive, we can't leave them." Ryan adjusted the course. "Signal is coming from near the dead star ahead." The dead star was a dark mass on the screen. No light, no warmth. Long ago it had burned bright. Now it was a cold shadow that bent space around it. As Dawnpath moved closer, the signal grew stronger, but only a little. The ship's sensors began to pick up something else. "Object detected," Ryan said. "Small craft. Damaged." Elias leaned forward. The image sharpened. It was not human. The craft was small and smooth, shaped like a curved shell. Its surface was cracked and burned. No weapon showed on its frame. No known markings matched human design. Tomas cursed under his breath. Alien, Vale whispered. Alive? Life signs are faint, Ryan said. But yes. One. The bridge felt suddenly too small. Aliens were not new to humans. The enemy was alien. That enemy had destroyed worlds, killed billions. Trust was a luxury no one had anymore.
Enemy design? Tomas asked.
Elias studied the image. No, too small, too damaged, and it's alone. That could be part of the trick, Tomas said. Maybe, Elias replied, but maybe not. Val looked at Elias. Captain, if Command finds out, they won't, Elias said. Not unless we report it. The ship drifted closer. The alien craft spun slowly, powerless. Its surface showed signs of old damage, not fresh battle marks. Ryan spoke softly. Captain, whoever that is, they've been out here a long time. Elias made his choice. Prepare a recovery operation, he said. Slow and careful. The docking bay opened. Small lights guided the alien craft in. Metal arms reached out and pulled it inside. When the bay doors closed, the ship felt different, as if it were holding its breath. Inside the bay, the crew gathered behind a barrier. The alien craft rested on the floor, silent and still. Vale activated scanners. The pilot is alive. Severe injury, low energy levels. Their body structure is different, but stable for now. Thomas crossed his arms. We don't know what they are, or what they carry. Val met his eyes. We know they are dying. Elias stepped forward. Can you save them? Vale hesitated. I can try, but it means opening the craft. Elias nodded. Do it. The shell opened with a soft sound. Inside was a single being. She was smaller than a human. Her skin had a faint glow, like light underwater. Her body was thin, fragile. Tubes and wires ran from the seat into her form. Her chest moved slowly, unevenly. Vale began working at once. Machines hummed. Readings appeared on screens. She's female, Vale said after a moment. At least, similar to that concept. Severe trauma. She won't survive long without support. Elias watched silently. As Vale prepared a medical pod, the ship's alert system chimed again. Rin's voice came over the intercom. Captain, long-range sensors just lit up. Elias turned. What is it? Multiple energy signatures, Ryan said. Far out, but moving fast. Enemy pattern. Tomas swore again. They're sweeping this sector. Elias looked back at the alien, now being moved into the pod. Can we jump? He asked. Ryan answered. Yes. But once we do, Command will ask why we were here. Ella straightened. I'll handle Command. The medical pod sealed. Blue light filled it. The alien's breathing became steadier. Vale exhaled. She's stable. For now. Elias nodded. Good. The ship's engines began to power up. Base twisted as Dawnpath prepared to jump. As the stars stretched and vanished, Elias felt a strange weight settle in his chest. He had disobeyed orders. He had taken an alien aboard. He had done it because he could not turn away. Somewhere deep in the ship, the alien slept. Somewhere far away, the enemy was coming. And somewhere in the space between fear and hope, a choice had been made that would change everything. The alien was asleep in the medical pod, but the crew of Dawnpath could feel her presence in the quiet of the ship. Her body glowed faintly in the soft blue light, like a small star struggling to shine in the dark. Every sensor on the ship was focused on her. Every beep and hum measured her life. For hours no one spoke. Only the quiet of space filled the bridge. Vale moved silently, adjusting the pod support systems. She glanced at Elias. Her vitals are improving, but slowly. She's very weak. Elias nodded. She's alive. That's all that matters for now. Ryan kept her eyes on the long-range scanners. Captain, the signal from her craft, it's still broadcasting. Not much, but it's faint. Could attract attention. Elias frowned. We can't shut it down. She may need it if she wakes up. The hours passed like slow waves. Each crew member stayed alert, watching for signs of danger from the stars outside. The enemy could be anywhere, but the calm of the ship made the tension even heavier. Finally, the alien stirred. A small hand moved in the pod. Her eyes opened. They were wide, large, and filled with something Elias could not name. Fear? Curiosity? Loneliness? All at once, she tried to speak, but her voice was a whisper, something soft, almost musical. Vale quickly attached a translator device to her pod. The alien's voice became words humans could understand. "My name,"
Lyra,
she said. Her words were slow, broken. I am alone." Elias leaned closer. "You're safe now. We won't hurt you." Lyra's eyes scanned the bridge. The crew watched her carefully. They were unsure if she understood or if she was judging them. "Your ship. You saved me," she said.
Her voice carried a hint of wonder. Many
did not survive.
Elias kept his tone steady.
"We do what we can. Where are you from?" Lyra's small hands trembled. "Home, lost, dead." She looked down. "All gone." Vale reached out softly. "You are not alone now. We will help you." For the next hours, Lyra remained quiet, trying to adjust to the strange sounds, the new smells, and the cold metal walls of the ship. She did not move much, but her eyes followed every person. She studied them carefully. Ryan whispered to Elias, "Captain, can we trust her?" Elias shook his head slowly. "I don't know yet, but right now she is more scared than dangerous." As the ship moved closer to human-controlled space, Lyra began to regain small pieces of her memory. She spoke softly to Elias during quiet moments in the medical pod. "I, pilot, rescue many lost children." Her voice was fragmented, but the meaning came through. She had saved lives before, and maybe she could help again. One evening, Dawn Path passed near a small, destroyed asteroid field. Lyra's eyes widened. "Enemy, they come." Elias turned to the scanners. Ryan's fingers flew over the controls. Multiple ships heading this way fast. Not warships, but raiders. They hunt anything moving near this sector. Amos cursed. "They could catch us before we jump." Elias considered. The ship was faster than the raiders, but they were closing in. "We prepare for evasive maneuvers," he said. "Lyra, stay in the pod. We can't risk you out there." Lyra nodded slowly, though her eyes remained fixed on the stars.
"I help?" she asked softly. Elias gave a small, tight smile.
"For now, you rest. We handled this." The raider ships appeared on the sensors like angry shadows. Dawn Path's engines roared. The ship twisted and spun to avoid detection. Small energy pulses flared from the raiders as they fired. The crew worked in perfect silence, their movements precise. Elias piloted with calm hands, guiding Dawn Path through the dangerous asteroid field. Ryan coordinated shields and countermeasures. Thomas kept the engines at maximum power without breaking systems. Vale monitored Lyra's condition, ready to act if her vitals changed. Despite the danger, Elias noticed something strange. Lyra's pod glowed slightly brighter. Her small hand touched the glass. It was as if she felt the chaos outside and wanted to act, even while unconscious. Finally, after long minutes, the raiders gave up. They vanished into the darkness of space, leaving Dawn Path alone again. The bridge exhaled in relief. Vale wiped her forehead. "She's still alive. No more damage." Elias nodded, though the tension remained. "This war, it is never over," he said quietly. Lyra stirred again. "They follow, always." Her voice was softer now, tired but clear. "They want death."
Elias crouched beside her pod.
"We'll keep you safe. That is all we can do." For the next few days, Dawn Path moved carefully through the sector. Lyra began to recover more fully. She learned small things about humans. She watched them eat, laughed quietly at their clumsy movements, and asked questions that made the crew pause. "Why humans fight so much?" she asked one evening. Her voice carried wonder and sadness. Elias sighed. "We fight because we must, because if we stop, we disappear. But we also fight for hope, for those who cannot fight themselves." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "I understand." But hope, fragile. One night when the stars outside seemed endless and quiet, Elias and Lyra spoke more. My people, lost," Lyra said. "I survived alone." Elias looked at her. "You're not alone anymore." She tilted her head, considering him. "Do you trust me?" "I do," he said. "For now." The bond between them was not strong yet, but it was growing. Something fragile, something human, had begun. Lyra had saved children once. Elias had kept hope alive for humanity. Now, in a small ship far from home, two survivors began to understand each other. But the enemy was still out there, faster, stronger, and relentless. Dawnpath would not see peace easily. Every jump, every signal, could bring death closer. Yet as Lyra rested in her pod, Elias allowed himself a quiet thought. Maybe, just maybe, this strange small alien could help humanity survive. And maybe humanity could help her survive too. For the first time in many years, the weight on Elias's chest felt lighter. Hope, fragile and small, had returned. But space did not forgive weakness. Somewhere in the dark, enemy sensors searched for them. Somewhere in the stars, danger moved closer. And Lyra, though quiet now, held a secret that could change everything. A secret born from memory, lost worlds, and a survival instinct sharper than any human weapon. Elias did not know it yet, but the moment she awoke fully, everything would change. For now, they traveled together. Two ships, one mission, and one small spark of hope in the endless dark. The stars waited silently, but not forever. Dawnpath moved steadily through the blackness of space. The stars stretched like silver threads, endless and cold. Inside the ship, life went on quietly. Lyra rested in her pod, her body regaining strength after the injuries that had nearly taken her life. She was weaker than the crew, but her mind was sharp. Every sound, every movement, every flicker of the ship's lights seemed to interest her. She watched, learned, and began to understand this strange human world. Elias walked past the pod, careful not to disturb her. He had begun to sense something unusual. Lyra's eyes, when she was awake, held a depth that spoke of survival and pain, but also understanding. She did not speak much now, but the silence between them was not empty. It was filled with something neither could name yet. Vale moved around the medical bay, checking Lyra's vitals. "She's stable, stronger than expected. She'll walk soon." Thomas at the engine controls grunted. "We can't relax. Even with her recovering, the enemy will find us." Rin at the navigation panel nodded. "They always find the weak. They always hunt the lost." Elias stood in the center of the bay, looking at the stars through the small viewport. He thought about Earth, about the colonies they had lost, about the families that no longer had homes. And he thought about the small, fragile alien in the pod. She had survived against odds that would have killed most humans. Somehow, she had carried hope with her. That night, Lyra woke fully. She moved slowly, stepping out of the pod with Bale supporting her. Her limbs were thin, but she did not falter. Her eyes met Elias's across the room, and in that moment he saw something he did not expect: recognition, gratitude, and a quiet trust. "You—"
"Awake," Elias said softly. Lyra nodded.
"Yes, awake." Strong now. Her voice was melodic, calm, and cautious. "Understand more." Vale smiled. "Good, take it slow. You have been through much." Lyra glanced at the crew. I see fear. Humans afraid." Elias's expression hardened. Fear keeps us alive, but sometimes it stops us from helping each other.
Lyra tilted her head. I
Want help you. I can do more. Elias hesitated. He had seen alien intelligence before, but not like this. Lyra's presence was different. She did not just think. She observed, remembered, and calculated in ways humans could barely understand. And yet, there was emotion there. Empathy, sorrow, hope, all tangled together. Then you will help, Elias said finally. But you follow my orders. No surprises. Lyra's eyes shone. I obey. For now. The days passed slowly. Lyra began learning human habits. She ate small portions of the rations, curious about flavors and textures. She watched Elias pilot the ship, her eyes following each movement. Occasionally, she would ask questions in her broken but understandable human speech. Why humans hurt each other, she asked one evening, her voice soft. Elias paused. He did not answer immediately. Finally, he said, because fear is stronger than love sometimes, because some forget hope, because survival is cruel. Lyra's lips curved slightly. I survived. I saw death. Many. But I still hope. Elias studied her. In her voice he heard something he had not heard in a long time. Certainty. She had lived through despair, yet she believed in survival. Her hope was not naive. It was tested, and it had not broken. Their bond grew quietly. Not words of love yet, but understanding. Elias began to feel a connection he had never expected. She was small, fragile, and yet unyielding. Her survival had a purpose beyond herself, and in this endless war, purpose was everything. Then came the moment that changed everything. Dawnpath was passing near a dense field of debris from a destroyed moon. Sensors were alert. Rhine noticed a flicker on the long-range scanners. Captain, she said, voice tense. Something is moving through the debris. Small. Fast. Elias leaned forward.
Describe it. Not human, Rin said. Unknown design.
Moving toward us. Thomas cursed. We are too slow to outrun it if it attacks.
Elias glanced at Lyra.
You understand this? Lyra nodded. Yes, they... hunters. They track energy, weak signals. Elias frowned. Then we cannot stay here. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. The small ship approached rapidly, weaving through the debris with surprising skill. Dawnpath dodged cautiously, but the enemy was fast. Energy pulses flared, not directly at them, but close enough to warn of intent. Shields at 60%, Tomas shouted. Evasive pattern Delta, Elias ordered. The ship twisted, rolling between the floating rock and broken fragments of metal. Lyra stepped forward, her hands on the control panel. I can help. Elias hesitated. No, not yet. Too dangerous. She looked at him, her large eyes serious. I can guide. I know path. Safe. Thomas frowned. She's an alien. How do we know this isn't a trick? Elias considered for a moment. The ship was nimble, but the debris field was unpredictable. They had seconds to decide. All right, Elias said. You guide, I take input. Everyone stay ready. Lyra's fingers brushed the panel. Her eyes closed briefly, focusing. The ship responded. Twisting, turning, slipping through the dangerous field like water flowing around rocks. The crew held their breath. Each pulse of the engines, each movement of the hull was precise and careful. The enemy ship fired, missing by mere meters. Dawnpath darted, guided by Lyra's instincts. Finally, after tense minutes, they emerged from the debris. The enemy ship slowed, unable to follow. It vanished into the blackness. The bridge erupted in quiet relief. Vale exhaled. She saved us. Thomas shook his head. We were taking orders from a stranger. Elias looked at Lyra. She smiled faintly. tired but calm. Safe. Now. Elias nodded. Yes. For now. But we are not free yet. They will come again. Lyra's eyes lingered on him.
I want help.
Humans, not alone.
I, not alone. Elias felt a strange warmth in his chest. It was not love, not yet, but a connection stronger than fear. In the endless dark of space, they were two survivors finding understanding in each other. For the next days, they trained together. Lyra learned ship systems, navigation patterns, and emergency maneuvers. She moved faster, thought quicker, and began to show signs of not just intelligence, but strategy. The crew remained cautious. Tomas still murmured warnings, Rin still doubted, and Vale still worried. But Elias trusted her, and for now, that trust was all that mattered. Late one night, Elias found Lyra sitting alone in the observation deck. She watched the stars, silent. Thinking? He asked softly. She looked at him, eyes reflecting the light of distant suns. Thinking, always, about past, about future, about survival. Elias sat beside her. You're not alone anymore. Lyra's small hand brushed his. I feel safe here. The moment was quiet. No words were needed. The stars stretched endlessly outside, and inside something fragile and strong was growing. A bond born of survival, trust, and understanding. But space did not rest. Somewhere out there, the enemy waited. Somewhere, danger moved with silent patience. And somewhere, Elias and Lyra's trust would soon be tested in ways neither could imagine. For now, they were ready. Together, they could face the stars. And perhaps, just perhaps, survive what was coming next. The silence after the escape felt heavier than the danger itself. Dawn path drifted through open space, engines low, lights dim. The crew moved carefully, as if loud sounds might draw unseen eyes. The stars outside looked calm, but everyone knew calm was a lie in this war. Lyra stood near the navigation panel now. She no longer stayed only in the medical bay. Her steps were slow but steady. Her body had healed enough, though weakness still lived inside her. She watched the screens with deep focus, her eyes following patterns that humans did not always notice. Elias stood close by. He had started doing that without thinking. When Lyra was near, he felt more alert, more aware. It was not comfort exactly, but clarity. Ren broke the silence.
Captain, incoming signal, long range.
Human command code. Elias closed his eyes for a brief moment. He had known this would come. Put it through. The screen lit up. A blurred human face appeared, sharp eyes filled with tension. The voice came through strong and cold. Unidentified dawn path, you have deviated from assigned route. You are ordered to report status immediately. Elias stood straight.
This is Captain Elias. Dawn path is operational.
We encountered hostile movement and adjusted course. There was a pause. The eyes on the screen narrowed. Your sensor logs show an unauthorized stop near a dead star. Explain. Elias chose his words carefully. We investigated an unknown signal. Standard scout procedure.
Another pause. Then the voice hardened.
You are carrying something you did not report. The bridge went still. Ryan glanced at Elias. Tomas clenched his jaw. Vale looked down.
Elias answered calmly. We rescued a survivor.
Define survivor, the voice demanded. Living, Elias said. In need of help. The screen flickered. Captain, you are ordered to surrender any non-human entity immediately. You are to change course and return to nearest command station.
Lyra had been quiet.
Now she spoke softly. They want me, the voice on the screen continued. Failure to comply will mark Dawn Path as hostile. Elias felt anger rise sharp and hot. You would kill a helpless survivor? The voice did not change. This war has no room for risk. Obey orders. The screen went dark. For several seconds, no one spoke. Tomas broke the silence. "We can't fight command. They'll destroy us," Ryan added. "They'll send interceptors. We won't outrun them for long."
Vale looked at Lyra. If they take her,
"She won't survive." Lyra lowered her head slightly.
Understand. Humans.
Afraid. Elias looked at her. Something inside him hardened into resolve. "No," he said. "This is wrong." He turned to the crew. "We are not surrendering her." Tomas stared at him. "Captain, that's treason." Elias met his eyes, so as letting fear decide who lives and who dies. The ship changed course. Alarm stayed silent, but the choice echoed through every system. Dawnpath was now alone. Cut off. Hunted by enemies on both sides. They flew toward an old moon base, abandoned years ago after early attacks. It was broken, cold, and forgotten. Perfect for hiding. As the ship docked, metal screamed softly against metal. Dust floated through the air when the doors opened. Lights flickered weakly. The base smelled of rust and old fear. Inside, they made camp. Temporary power, limited oxygen, no safety. Lyra walked slowly through the dark halls. Her hand brushed old human writing on the walls. Names, dates, final messages scratched into metal. "Your people died here," she said quietly. "Yes," Elias replied. "We couldn't save them." She looked at him. "You still try." He nodded. "That's what makes us human." That night, while the crew rested in shifts, Elias and Lyra sat together near a small window that showed the distant stars. The silence between them was deep, but not empty. "Lyra," Elias said softly, "you said before that you could help us."
That you know the enemy.
She was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. "My memory, broken before. Fear blocked it. Pain blocked it." She closed her eyes. When she opened them again, something had changed. Her voice was steadier. "My people fought them long before humans knew the stars. We were strong, smart, united. We lost." Elias listened carefully. "The enemy is many bodies, one mind," Lyra continued.
They share thoughts, commands.
"They feel no love, no grief, no loyalty, only purpose." Thomas, who had been listening nearby, frowned. "Then how do they fail?" "They fail," Lyra said, "because they do not understand why you fight." Elias leaned forward. "Explain." "They see numbers, weapons, energy. They do not see bonds." Her eyes met his. "They do not understand sacrifice or love." The word hung in the air. "When my people fell," Lyra said, "we tried to match their strength. We failed. But I saw something. In small moments. Humans, you fight for each other, even when it makes no sense."
Elias thought of soldiers holding lines they could not win.
Of pilots turning back to save others. Of crews like his choosing mercy over orders. "They cannot predict actions driven by emotion," Lyra said. "It breaks their systems. Confuses their shared mind." Val whispered, "Are you saying emotion is a weapon?" Lyra nodded.
yes, but dangerous.
"It requires trust. Deep connection." Elias understood then.
"A link," he said slowly.
"Between minds." "Yes," Lyra replied. "Between souls." The word felt heavy, powerful. Before anyone could speak more, alarm sounded. Not loud, but sharp. Rin rushed in. "Human interceptors inbound. 2 ships. Fast." Tomas cursed. "They found us." Elias made his decision. "Prepare, Dawnpath. We leave now." They ran back to the ship. The base fell silent again as Dawnpath pulled free and launched into space. The human ships appeared on sensors, sleek, armed, Friendly faces turned into threats. "Dawn path," came the voice. "Power down and prepare for boarding." Elias did not answer. He pushed the engines harder. Energy fire streaked past.
"Shields flared. They won't stop," Rin said.
"They'll disable us." Lyra stepped forward. "I can hide us." Elias hesitated only a second. "Do it." She closed her eyes, hands moving over the console. She guided the ship into a strange path through warped space near a gravity tier. Human ships followed, but faltered. Dawn paths slipped through. The interceptors could not. Silence returned. The crew stared at Lyra. "You risked your life," Elias said. She looked tired but calm. "You risked yours for me. We are equal." Later, as Dawnpath drifted safely, Elias found Lyra alone again. She looked smaller somehow, fragile after the effort.
You didn't have to stay.
She said quietly. "You could have saved yourselves." Elias shook his head. "Some things are worth the risk." She looked up at him. "Why?" He thought for a moment, then answered honestly. "Because leaving you would make us no better than the enemy."
Lyra reached out, her hand touching his chest lightly. "Your heart, loud."
"Strong." He smiled faintly. "So I'm told." In that moment, something shifted. It was no longer just trust. It was care. Deep, quiet, and powerful. But the war did not pause for emotions. Far away, massive enemy fleets began to move. Toward Earth, toward the final stand. And Dawnpath, alone and hunted, carried not just a survivor, but a truth that could save humanity, if they lived long enough to share it. Dawnpath moved at maximum speed, cutting through space like a wounded animal that refused to fall. The engines burned hot. The hull trembled. Every system was pushed close to failure. Earth was still far, but the enemy fleets were closer than ever. On the main screen, red warning marks filled the edges. Enemy movement, large formations. Too many to count. Rhine swallowed hard. "Captain, they are everywhere. This is not a hunt. This is a march." Elias stared at the screen. He already knew what it meant. They are going for Earth. Silence spread across the bridge. Earth was not just a planet. It was the last strong home of humanity. If Earth fell, there would be nothing left to defend. Vale spoke softly. "How long until they arrive?" Rhine checked the numbers again. Her hand shook. "Days, maybe less." Tomas slammed his fist lightly against the console. "We can't stop that. Even the full human fleet can't stop that." Lyra stood quietly near Elias. Her eyes were fixed on the moving symbols. She did not look afraid. She looked focused, as if she had been waiting for this moment. "This is it," she said calmly. "The final push." Elias turned to her. "You said there was a way." "A chance." She nodded slowly. "Yes, but it is not safe. Not simple." Elias gestured for everyone to listen. "Say it." Lyra took a breath. "The enemy shares one mind, a hive. Every ship, every unit, connected. They think together, fight together. That makes them strong." Tomas crossed his arms. "And impossible to break." "No," Lyra said. "It makes them fragile." The crew looked at her. "They cannot feel alone," she continued. "They do not understand separation. They do not understand choice made from emotion." Elias remembered her words before. Bonds, love, sacrifice. "Their mind depends on clear logic," Lyra said. "When faced with emotional signals, their shared thoughts begin to break. Conflict spreads." Rin leaned forward. "You're saying we can confuse the entire fleet?" "Yes," Lyra replied, "with the right signal." Vale frowned. "What kind of signal?" Lyra looked at Elias. "A joined one. Two minds, two beings. Fully linked, sharing emotion, memory, intent." The bridge went silent. Thomas shook his head. "That sounds like suicide. Lyra did not deny it. It can kill us, or leave us broken." Elias did not look away. What would it do? It would enter their network, Lyra said. Not as code, as feeling, as conflict. Love mixed with fear. Loyalty mixed with sacrifice. They cannot process it. Ryan whispered, it could collapse the hive.
Yes, Lyra said, or weaken it enough for your fleets to fight. Elias felt the weight of the choice settle on him.
Why two? Because one mind alone cannot generate enough emotional force, Lyra said. It must be shared, trusted, equal. Tomas looked between them. You're talking about the two of you. Lyra nodded. Vale stepped forward. Captain, you don't have to do this. Elias smiled faintly.
Yes, I do.
He turned to Lyra. Are you willing? She met his gaze without hesitation. I already chose. The plan formed quickly. Dawnpath would not return to Earth directly. Instead, it would head toward the edge of the enemy formation, close enough to broadcast, close enough to die. The human fleet was warned with a short message, no details, only a simple truth. Hold as long as you can. As Dawnpath approached enemy space, the stars disappeared behind layers of enemy ships. Massive forms, cold designs. Endless. Ryan's voice shook. They see us. Good, Elias said. Then we're in the right place. The ship shook as enemy sensors locked on. Weapons powered up.
Shields won't last, Tomas warned.
We don't need time, Elias said. Just one moment. The link chamber was small, bare, 2 seats facing each other. Cables and lights surrounded them. Vale prepared the system with careful hands. Once this starts, I can't stop it. Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. You've already done more than enough. Lyra stepped into the chamber. She looked smaller here, fragile against the cold metal. Elias followed. The doors closed. They sat facing each other. The lights dimmed.
Are you afraid? Elias asked quietly.
Lyra considered. Yes, but
not alone.
He nodded. Me too. The system activated. Soft light wrapped around them. Sensors connected to their minds. Heartbeats synced. At first, there was only noise, confusion, overlapping thoughts. Then something changed. Elias felt memories that were not his, burning skies. A world falling apart, children being placed into ships, Lyra's pain, her guilt, her strength. Lyra felt his memories. Earth skies, training halls, friends lost in battle, choices made under pressure, a pilot who kept going when hope was gone. Their emotions mixed. Fear, resolve, care. Outside, Dawnpath's signal burst into enemy space. The hive reacted instantly. Enemy ships faltered. Formations wavered. Inside the link, the pressure grew. Elias gasped as pain surged through his body. Lyra cried out softly. It's working, she said through clenched focus. But it's too much. Elias forced himself to stay conscious. Keep going. The hive mind fractured. Conflicting impulses spread. Retreat and attack collided. Logic tangled with emotion. Enemy fire weakened. Some ships drifted. Others turned on each other, confused. But the cost was rising. Lyra's breathing became shallow. Her light dimmed. Lyra, Elias said urgently. Stay with me. I am, she whispered. But I cannot hold much longer. The signal began to weaken. Outside, enemy weapons began to recover. Elias made his choice. He opened his mind fully. Every memory, every feeling. He let love rise, unguarded. Care for his crew, for humanity, for Lyra. The surge hit the hive like a storm. Enemy ships froze. Entire sections shut down. But inside the chamber, Elias screamed as pain tore through him. His vision went dark. Lyra felt him slipping.
No, she said softly. You gave enough. She tightened the link herself, taking the full load.
Her small body shook as energy flooded her. The signal flared one last time, stronger than before. Then everything went quiet. On the bridge, alarms stopped. Enemy symbols vanished from the screen. Vale ran toward the chamber as the doors opened. Elias collapsed forward, unconscious. Lyra fell back in her seat, unmoving. "Vitals!" Vale shouted. Elias was alive, weak but breathing. Lyra's readings were fading. Vale worked desperately but shook her head slowly. "I can't stabilize her." Elias stirred, barely aware. "Lyra." She opened her eyes one last time. Looked at him. "Humanity will live," she whispered. "That is enough." Her light faded. Outside, the enemy fleet collapsed into chaos. Human fleets moved in. Earth was saved, but on Dawn Path, victory felt heavy. Elias lay still, tears slipping silently down his face as the ship drifted among silent stars. Hope had been born, but it had come at a terrible cost. Dawn Path drifted silently through the void, carrying the weight of what had just happened. The enemy fleet lay in ruins behind them, broken, confused, and retreating. Humanity had survived, but the cost had been immense. Elias lay in the medical bay, weak and pale, but alive. Around him, the crew moved quietly, their eyes tired, haunted by the memory of what they had just witnessed. The link chamber remained empty. Lyra's body had vanished in the final surge of the signal, leaving only faint traces of light that slowly faded. For hours, Elias could not move, could not speak. The crew did what they could, tending to the systems, checking sensors, and maintaining the ship, but the silence weighed heavily. Hope had been won, yet a deep ache remained. Days passed slowly as Dawn Path traveled back toward Earth. Elias began to regain strength, but the memory of Lyra and the link stayed with him. Her sacrifice had saved humanity. Her courage had given them a chance. He thought of the way she had trusted him, the way they had shared everything in that final moment. The thought made his heart ache, but also made it stronger. Then, one morning as the ship passed near the edge of the solar system, the sensors picked up something unusual. A small ship appeared from beyond the asteroid belt. Its design was unfamiliar, yet elegant. It moved with purpose, not like a random vessel drifting in space. The crew tensed immediately. "Unknown ship approaching," Rhine said, her voice tight. Sensors show energy readings similar to Lyra's final signal. Elias felt his pulse quicken. Could it be? The ship docked with Dawn Path. The airlock opened slowly. The crew watched as a figure stepped through. Small, lithe, glowing, faintly. Lyra, or someone who had become something new. Her eyes met Elias's, and he felt the same spark of recognition he had felt before, stronger now. She had changed. Her form shimmered with energy, her movements graceful, yet human-like. She was no longer fragile. She radiated strength, yet calm, quiet, and familiar. Elias could not speak at first. He simply stared, feeling a wave of relief, wonder, and joy. Lyra stepped closer. "I am back," she said softly. Her voice carried warmth, light, and certainty. "The link transformed me. Your signal and mine, combined with the enemy energy. I survived." Vale rushed to check her vitals, amazed.
How? This shouldn't be possible.
Lyra smiled faintly. "It is. I carry what we created together. Not only life, but hope." Elias moved to her side. "I thought I lost you." "You did not," she said. "I was changed. We survived, together, in spirit. Now, I am here." The crew watched quietly, their skepticism fading. Fear had been replaced with awe. Humanity had seen much, but something like this, someone surviving and returning from the brink, was beyond anything they had known. Elias reached for her hand. The warmth was real, solid. Not just memory, not just energy. "We did it," he said. voice shaking.
"Yes," she replied, "and Earth
Will live. Humanity has hope." The ship turned toward the inner solar system. Earth came into view, fragile and blue, spinning slowly against the black. Humanity had survived the greatest threat it had ever faced, and now, with Lyra at Elias's side, they had more than survival. They had understanding, strength, and a bond that the enemy could never break. As Dawnpath approached orbit, the human fleet came into view, waiting for their return. They cheered when they recognized the ship, but the crew knew that the true victory was not only in ships or weapons. It was in what Elias and Lyra represented: trust, courage, and connection. Elias and Lyra stood together at the observation deck. Their hands held, their hearts aligned. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, but inside there was light. Love, hope, and unity had returned to humanity. "The war may continue," Elias said softly, "but we know now what can defeat them." Lyra nodded. Love, sacrifice, trust, the things they cannot understand. And in that moment, as the Earth grew closer, humanity's future felt limitless. Two souls had flown together through darkness and danger. And in that flight, they had found hope, not only for themselves, but for the entire human race. The sun rose over Earth, bathing the planet in gold light. Dawnpath drifted in orbit, carrying those who had survived, carrying knowledge and carrying the proof that even in the darkest times, hope, courage, and love could prevail. Elias looked at Lyra.
"We found more than survival. We found each other."
Lyra smiled. And humanity found hope in love. The stars outside were still vast and cold, but inside, Dawnpath, warmth and light returned. Humanity had survived, and now, for the first time in a long time, the future felt bright. The ship's engines hummed softly as it began its descent toward home. Peace had not fully come, but the hardest part was over. Humanity was not just alive, humanity had learned. And with Lyra and Elias together, the human race had hope stronger than any weapon, stronger than any fleet. And somewhere in the infinite dark, love had become humanity's greatest power.